Without much fanfare or noise, the depth chart for Auburn's 2021 football team has been released online on their website. And there's maybe a few surprises on it, but there's probably a lot that you're expecting that we're going to talk about. Let's walk through the depth chart together and talk about who's going to be playing where, ones and twos, and see what things stick out to us. My name is Kyle, the editor of the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. Our content here on our podcast network may tend to be Auburn sports heavy, but if it's orange and blue, it's what we do. If you're new to this channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button so you never miss any content. Thank you to members of the Booster Club like John Stokes, who help produce videos like this. The offseason's been a little bit quiet, with even fans or even journalists trying to make something out of quarterback competitions in other areas, but there really hasn't been a lot of serious question marks about who is going to be playing where. We've even done videos about who were the top wide receivers, who was going to have the highest percentage chance to win the starting quarterback job here on this channel. You can check out those for the links in the description, but also up above in the video right now if you want to see those videos. But I thought I have the right here in front of me, the depth chart, but also up here on the screen for you guys to see as well. Ones versus twos that was released on the website today, which wasn't made a big deal about, and there's probably not any big surprises on here, except for a few things that I think we'll stop on and talk about. So let's just walk through it and see what we think. Number one, right off the top, quarterback. Bo Nix is number one with TJ Finley right behind him. A lot of you were wanting Demetrius Davis to kind of crack into the top two at least there. I didn't see that happening as much as I see him as the future of our quarterback position, but also our offense. I don't necessarily find any surprise in him not being part of that, nor Bo Nix being number one. Doesn't mean things won't change throughout the season. It doesn't mean they shouldn't. We'll see what happens when we get into some legit game time, though. Running backs, we got Tank Bigsby, obviously at number one, Sean Shivers number two. No really surprises there whatsoever. You can't really beat out Tank. And Sean's just an awesome dude, a really solid running back. Not even a number two, like a 1A, really, if you think about it. Tight end, you got John Samuel Schenker, Luke Deal behind him, and then Tyler Fromm. You know, there's nothing really exciting about the tight end depth chart here. I kind of expected, I can't even say his name, Samuel Schenker, to be the lead guy here, but you know, Luke Deal and then Tyler Fromm is kind of what we've seen the last couple of years, nothing really changing, and we'll just have to see if the production changes this position and this depth chart in any way. Here's probably where the first big surprise comes in. Wide receiver, the X position, Shedrick Jackson. I was anticipating him to be one of these star wide receivers this year, but I think a lot of people had written him off, and honestly, I understand why, because of injuries and other things that were going on. But happy to see the nephew of Bo Jackson is going to be a major factor, at least early on, in wide receiver position battles. Right behind him is Zevion Capers. A lot of people thought he might be in the starting position, but right behind Shedrick right now. At the H position, you got Javaris Johnson. That's a big name that everybody was really excited to see perform this year. Right behind him, Tavares Dawson, the only freshman really prominently to break into the twos and to be part of an actual depth chart. At the Z position, not really a big surprise here, even though we didn't want to just assume that he was going to walk in and take a starting job. At the Z position, Demetrius Robertson, the transfer from UGA. Right behind him, Kobe Hudson and Malcolm Johnson Jr. Who's missing from this? There's a big name out there that I think a lot of you are thinking of right now, and that would be Elijah Kenyon. Don't know anything, don't know why he's not there. We'll probably find out later. Left tackle, we got Austin Troxell and then Killian Zaire. Left guard, Brandon Council, Alec Jackson. Center, Nick Brahms and Jaleel Irvin. Right guard, Keandre Jones and Tayshawn Manning. And right tackle, Brodarius Ham and Brendan Coffey. Now, this isn't really a surprise because this came out a few days ago that Keandre was going to be able to probably take that starting spot from Tayshawn Manning, which you feel bad for Tayshawn because he's battled cancer and gotten back from that. So you would hate to see that upperclassmen wouldn't get a shot at this. Doesn't mean he's not going to be playing. Doesn't mean things aren't going to rotate through. Again, knock on wood, there's probably going to be some injuries in the season. So this is not the last time that we're going to see Tayshawn Manning. He could even be the starter by the end of the season. All right, defensively, let's look at this. Defensive end, Colby Wooden and Zacchaeus Walker. No surprise there, right? Not really much to say about that. Nose tackle, Tony Fair, JJ Pegues. All you I call them Pegues assists, but Pegues fans out there, he's in the 2 deep at nose tackle. So that athletic son of a gun has found a way to crack the starting, not the starting lineup, but the 2 deep anywhere he goes. Defensive tackle Marcus Harris and Marquise Burks. Just from watching Harris and a lot of the other defensive linemen work together, the supposed starters, I'm not surprised at this at all. The transfer in is making a big impact early at Auburn. Defensive end, another not surprised, Derek Hall and then TD Moultrie. Although I thought TD would see and will see more time than actually being number 2 on the depth chart here, because I really liked the way he looked at that open practice I went to, but Derek Hall is probably the guy that you expect to be in the starting position there. Middle linebacker, Owen Popo, followed up by Chandler Wooten. Weak side linebacker, Zacoby McLean, followed by Wesley Steiner. And then the star position, Chandler Wooten, Cam Riley, and Joko Willis. Now the star position obviously being somewhat of a hybrid, but no shockers that Chandler Wooten, who's back this season, was going to find a way to crack the starting lineup somewhere defensively for the Auburn Tigers, even though there were some pretty solid starters already at middle and weak side linebacker. So those guys, completely not a shock there. That was going to be your starting lineup. Cornerbacks, Roger McCreary and Roe Terrence. A little bit of a surprise. Not surprise, but just not a name that everybody is aware of. Other cornerback, Nehemiah Pritchett and Jalen Simpson. Glad to see Simpson back in that 2 deep, so we'll probably see him playing a lot this season. At safety, Bradarius Knighton, who is a name that's kind of somewhat unfamiliar with a lot of Auburn Tiger fans, but he'll be the starting safety on one side with Zion Puckett backing him up. And then finally at the last safety position, we've got Smoke Monday. No shockers there. And then Donovan Kaufman. I've heard it said, expect Donovan Kaufman to play a lot, even though he is number 2 at that position. Finally, special teams. Don't know that these are going to be earth-shattering news items here, but place kicker Anders Carlson, followed up by Ben Patton. Punter Oscar Chapman, backed up by Aiden Marshall. Long snapper Jacob Quattlebaum, followed up by Reed Hughes. And then here's probably where the more intrigue for a lot of you comes in. Punt returner Javaris Johnson, followed up or at the same time with Demetrius Robertson. They list those both in bold because I think it depends on the situation. Technically, I guess you could put 2 back there at punt returns if you wanted to. Probably won't, but kind of listed as 1A and 1B. Same thing for kick returners because you typically put maybe 2 out there sometimes. You got Donovan Kaufman. Expect to see him a lot. It's a name I keep hearing coming up. And also Nehemiah Pritchett. So that is your full depth chart for the 2021 season to start the season. Things are going to change. I promise you they will as we go throughout the year. But what do you think of the depth chart? Is there anybody on this list you're surprised by being in the position they are? Is there anybody that's left out that you think should be in here? Let's keep that conversation going down in the comments section below. If you enjoyed this content, please help support it by smashing that like button. If you want more content from us, be sure to hit the subscribe and notification bell so you never miss an upload or a live stream. There are also other ways to help support the things that we do here, such as joining the Booster Club or becoming a channel member for as little as $1 a month. You can find links for that in the description below. Thank you for tuning into the E2C Network, where the Auburn family speaks. War Eagle.